Hi, in this video I will show you the 9 signs that you might have hypochlorhydria, that means a lack of acidity in your stomach. So maybe you have heard about the baking soda test. That's a test where you drink baking soda, like a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water. You drink that in the morning before breakfast, and if you lack acidity in the stomach, you are supposed to burp quickly after drinking that. This test is not good, it's not reliable at all. There are many false negatives with this test for different reasons. The main reason is that the principle behind this test is that baking soda is very alkaline and your stomach is supposed to be very acid. So when alkalinity meets acidity, it creates gas, and therefore you're supposed to burp if you have enough acid in your stomach. But the problem with this test is that when you drink that on an empty stomach in the morning, by definition, your stomach is empty. And when the stomach is empty, it doesn't secrete any fluid. It doesn't secrete any acidity. There might be some leftover of acidity in your stomach, but really your stomach doesn't make acid if it doesn't need to. And your stomach needs to make acidity when there are foods that come in the stomach. So when you have an empty stomach, your stomach doesn't make acidity. That's why these tests won't work and will make many false negatives. And some people will say, yeah, but it works because when I do the test, I burp right away, and therefore it's a proof that it works. Not necessarily. Many people burp very quickly, not because it's the reaction of the baking soda with the stomach acid, but because when they drink the glass, they actually swallow some air. It's the air that you swallowed with your glass of water and baking soda that you burp out. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the reaction of baking soda and the stomach acid. So I don't like this test because of that. I have seen many people who they come to me and they say, oh, I think I have hypochlorhydria because I did the baking soda test and I didn't burp at all. I have hypochlorhydria. This is not the way to see if you really have hypochlorhydria, a lack of stomach acid. I will tell you now what I ask my clients in consultation. When I do consultations, I ask my clients many questions about different organs in their body. And after these questions, I know what's happening in this or that organ. So now I will tell you what I ask my clients during my consultations regarding the stomach. How do I find out if they have lack of stomach acid? So first question I ask is, do you feel that you have slow digestion? Okay, slow digestion in the stomach. Okay, we are not talking about the rest of the digestive tract. We're not talking about the intestines. Do you feel that you have slow digestion in your stomach? Do you feel like after eating food, it stays forever in the stomach? It doesn't move. Okay. Do you feel like it's like you swallowed a brick or a stone and it's stuck there in your stomach? This is the first question I ask. If the answer is yes, that's one sign that you might have a lack of stomach acidity. Second question I ask is, do you feel that your digestion is even slower in the stomach when you eat fat, when you have a fatty meal? If the answer is yes, chances are that it's another sign of hypochlorhydria. So difficulty to digest fat, it can be an issue, it can be caused by an issue in the stomach, but of course it can be caused by an issue with the liver or the pancreas. So why do I ask this question about fat? It's because fat is the macronutrient that is the most difficult to digest and the longest to digest for your digestive system. And when you eat fat, the food that you ingest will stay longer in the stomach. I talk about that in one of my videos. I have many videos about stomach health, and in one of my videos I talk about Alexis Saint-Martin. There was a book that was written about this man. He had a hole in the stomach, so people could see from the outside what was happening in his stomach. And the doctor who studied him saw that when Alexis was eating fat, the food stayed longer in the stomach. And since then, so it's an old book, but this was verified since then, of course. So now everybody knows that. But yeah, anyway, that's why eating fat can make your digestion longer in the stomach. Another question I ask is, do you feel that you have more difficulty to digest red meat compared to white meat? If the answer is yes, then that's another sign of hypochlorhydria. Another question is, do you feel satiated very quickly after you start eating? If you feel satiated after just a few tablespoons of your food, and you feel that you don't eat anything in your plate and you are already full, that's another sign that you have hypochlorhydria. Also, if you don't feel hunger, that's another sign. Why? That's because your body doesn't do anything for no reason. If you don't feel the sensation of hunger, that's because your body doesn't feel ready to deal with food. Your body knows that it doesn't have the energy, the resources to digest food. So that's why you don't feel hunger. So it can be a problem with your stomach. It can be a sign of hypochlorhydria, but it can be a sign of any type of issue in your digestive system. Okay, but that could be one sign of hypochlorhydria. If you have stomach pain, okay, pain in the stomach. So where is your stomach? Your stomach is, I will show you. It's here. It's really like it's really high in your digestive system. Okay, I show you because many people actually don't really know where their stomach is. When I ask them these questions, they say, oh, I don't know if it's my stomach or my intestine or my liver. So the stomach is really up there at the intersection of your ribs, okay, in the middle of your belly. So you will have, so you feel your stomach there, and also a little lower on the left side, that's where your stomach is. Okay, so do you feel pain in your stomach, in the area of your stomach? That could be another sign of hypochlorhydria, because if you lack stomach acidity, then your digestion will be much more complicated in your stomach. Your stomach will need to work more and longer to be able to digest what you eat. And because your stomach has to work harder and longer, it can hurt. Okay, so that's another sign of hypochlorhydria if you have stomach pain regularly, especially after eating. Do you have reflux or GERD? Okay, do you have acid reflux? Do you feel after eating that food is coming back up? So it can go back up, not too high. You can feel that it goes back in the esophagus. Some people feel it goes back up to the throat, here. And so for some people, it can even go higher, like here in the back of your throat. So do you feel that you have acid reflux, especially after eating? That's another sign of hypochlorhydria. Why? It's because there's a valve between the esophagus and the stomach. And this valve opens and closes depending if the stomach is full or not. So when you eat your meal, the valve is open so that the food can go down in your stomach. And when you are done eating, the valve closes so that the stomach can start working and malaxing your food. And the valve needs to be closed so the food won't go up in your esophagus and in your throat. So if it does go up, then you have reflux, you have acid reflux, because the valve stays open. And why do the valve stays open? It does stay open in people who lack stomach acidity, because the acidity in the stomach is the sign, is the signal that your valve receive to open or to close. So if the stomach is acid, the valve will close. If there's not enough acid, the valve will stay open. Also, another sign is burning sensation in the stomach or the esophagus or the throat. That's a consequence of what we just said about reflux. If you have acid reflux, it will hurt your esophagus and your throat because the reflux is acidic. And it's too acidic for your esophagus or your throat. Your esophagus and your throat are not supposed to receive any type of acid on a regular basis. Like if you have that every day, it will end up burning your throat and esophagus. So if you feel this sensation of pain, burning sensation in the esophagus or throat, that's a sign of acid reflux, and therefore it's a sign of lack of acidity in the stomach. And another consequence of reflux is if you have mucus constantly in your throat and or you cough coughing a lot, and especially dry cough, that can be a sign that you have acid reflux and therefore hypochlorhydria. And the last sign is, do you burp a lot? Do you burp a lot all day long, and especially after your meals? That's another sign that you lack stomach acid. Why? Again, because if you burp, it means that you don't have enough acid to digest correctly your food in your stomach. Therefore, because it won't be digested fast, there will be gas building up in your stomach, and therefore you will burp. Okay, I'm not talking about one burp here and there. People who lack stomach acidity, they burp all day long. Okay, so if that's your problem, that's a very clear sign that you lack stomach acidity. That's all for today. I have a very detailed video about hypochlorhydria. I put the link here. So hypochlorhydria, again, it means lack of stomach acid. So please go watch that video if you want more details, more information about hypochlorhydria, how to heal that naturally. I explained that in my video. I also have a playlist about stomach issues. So the playlist is also up there, and I will put it in the comments under this video. Please feel free to comment under this video if you have questions about what I talked about today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.